And welcome to our Accreditation and Student Experience webinar, focused around the MSc Business and Organisational Psychology, which is part of our online programme portfolio. So today our speakers are, my name is Gemma Angus. I am the Enrolment Manager at Heriot-Watt Online, and we're delighted to have Don Nicholson with us today, who is the Vice Chair and Head of University Accreditation for the Association of British Psychology. And we also have Dean Bowles joining us who is a Human Resource Advisor and currently one of our MSc Business and Organisational Psychology students. So the agenda today is we are going to have a look at the ABP accreditation with Don, and then we're going to pass over to Dean, who will talk to us a bit about his experience of studying with Heriot-Watt. There will be an opportunity for questions at the end, so I could ask if you could just hold off till the end to put any questions in the chat. There's also the opportunity to ask any general questions around the programme to the advisors, which you can also do so in the chat or by email, and the information on that will be posted at the end of the presentation. So I'm just going to hand over to Don to get us started, and then you'll hear from Dean a bit later on in the presentation.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for inviting me to represent the Association for Business Psychology here at this particular presentation. So I'm going to give you a little introduction to the ABP, about some of the things that we do and that we offer, and also a particular benefit that ABP accreditation for a university program can offer to those who are studying on that particular program. First of all, who is the ABP? So the ABP has been around for about 25 years now, which is predates my relationship with them. And we are the professional body for business psychology practitioners in the United Kingdom. Many of our members are individual and small enterprise business psychology practitioners, but we also have a number of corporate members, which are larger organizations, including organizations like Arup and NatWest. So we champion professional excellence and we champion evidence-based practice. And for us, business psychology is all about understanding psychology and human behavior and about improving business performance and the quality of working lives. Flourishing organizations, flourishing institutions basically are way more productive, employees are way happier, and that's what we're all striving for at this particular point in time. So what are our ABP values? Well, we have a number. First of all, we want to be inclusive. You don't have to have the title of a business psychologist to be welcomed into the ABP, and we find that many of our members also come from backgrounds including human resources, learning and development, organizational development, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we are inclusive and open to all. We want to be accessible. So again, it is about making the application of business psychology user-friendly. And again, I myself spent 16 years working in human resources and also in management consulting before I became a business psychology academic. And I realized in retrospect that I'm using business psychology almost all of the time, and I was using business psychology all of the time in my previous careers. It's about promoting business psychology. Business psychology has never had a greater opportunity in my view. The workplace is exceptionally complex and exceptionally challenging, and this is a great opportunity for business psychology to support workplaces as they move forward with things like AI, and changing schedules, changing shift patterns, etc. It's about demonstrating best practice. Where can we show great examples of the application of business psychology? Yes, of course, there is a theory behind business psychology, but this is very much an applied subject, and it is all about the application to make business psychology help improve workplaces. And it's also about building capability. We accredit a number of university courses, and we also provide certification for our individual members, and I'll say a little bit about that in a little time. So what do we actually do? Well, we are organized across 4 pillars. First of all, we set standards. That involves university accreditation, so formal business psychology accreditation. We have a certification team which sets and applies standards for professional practice. So this is how individual members of the ABP can develop and improve their trajectory. And we have a recognition team that celebrates the achievement of excellence at our annual awards. We have an education team, so we offer training. We have an events team. We offer a range of events, both online and in person. And we have a resources team because we have an extensive continuing professional development library with informative content. And we also have an engagement team. We want to attract membership, but we also want to retain membership. And it's all about demonstrating to our members the value that we bring. And we have an advocacy team, which basically promotes the standards for and recognition of the business psychology industry. We are an entirely volunteer-led organization, so we rely extensively on volunteers, and we have a people and operations team that recruits and support them. And we are always looking for volunteers, and we have a number of students who have volunteered for the ABP over the years. What else do we offer? We have an annual conference. We offer a monthly newsletter with topical announcements and events, ad hoc member offers and discounts. I'll come back to the BizSite Cup. Professional membership status, as I've said, which is through our certification process. Online networking, we have a new community hub that we've just launched. Member and industry insights. We offer a podcast and a book club. And the BizSite Cup. The BizSite Cup is something that I launched as a team competition for students approximately 4 years ago. The student teams are drawn from accredited and non-accredited universities, and it enables students to work on business psychology challenges that are set by corporate members of the ABP. And these are real-world business challenges. So the next competition will be coming up for 25-26, and we'll be putting out a call for teams in September, October of this year. We have a big focus on guardianship and growth. We care very much about the field of business psychology, and we feel a great sense of responsibility to upholding the values, standards, and integrity of our field. And that is not just about today, that is about the future as well. We view ourselves just as stakeholders. We are holding the field for this precise point in time, but in the future, we will pass it on to others, and it will be for them to focus on the reputation, the ethics, and the quality of our field. So as guardians, we mentor others, and that just doesn't involve students. It could involve early practitioners, even mid to late career practitioners. We advocate for best practice, and it is all about, as I said, leaving our field stronger than we found it. So it is about a sense of stewardship. It's not just about our personal success, but it is about a commitment to the field's long-term health and reputation. We're also focused on growth, and that is about mentoring the next generation. We want to drive innovation. AI is a great case in point. How are we all going to work with AI in the future? And fostering an environment of continuous learning. So from a growth perspective, we want to ensure that the field continues to evolve, it continues to adapt to new challenges, and it is vibrant and relevant for the future. So we want to be a catalyst for progress so that the field survives and thrives. And being that catalyst is about these things that you see in front of you. It's about embracing innovation, staying ahead of industry trends, being open to new ideas and technologies. It's about mentoring and educating, as I've already highlighted, and it's about fostering collaboration, both within and outside of our field. We're building an excellent relationship with the Division of Occupational Psychology for the BPS, but we also have other burgeoning partnerships, and we're talking to a number of organizations about collaboration. And as I said, I think it is about being open, not just to those who badge themselves as business psychologists, but those who may be using business psychology in their day-to-day roles without necessarily actively realizing it or even calling themselves business psychologists. We advocate for change. Where can the field improve? Is it about ethics? Is it about diversity? Is it about practice? We have that commitment to lifelong learning, as I said, and we also promote best practice. So we're looking to lead by example, adhering and promoting the highest standards of practice within our field. So we have a commitment to excellence. We want to set a benchmark for others to follow. So we have an individual certification process, as I mentioned, not to be confused with accreditation. And it is very much an engagement process. We provide support and mentoring to individuals who want to move through different levels of certification that the ABP offers. Everyone can become a general member, but some people choose to take their certification to a different level. We have 3 levels of certification: certified business psychologist, certified principal business psychologist, and fellow of the ABP, which is only bestowed on a small number of individuals. We also have a coaching certification as well. So individuals who are perhaps more interested in the coaching side of business psychology can come through on that route. It is very much a feedback-driven process. It's about networking and being part of a community of practice, and it's very time efficient, and remote assessment is also possible. You can also, once you've been successfully certified yourself, become an assessor for others. So I alluded to the fact that there's a significant benefit for individuals who graduate from an ABP accredited master's program, and that basically is set out in front of you. So if you are a graduate, successful graduate from an ABP accredited master's business psychology program, then you can avail yourself of a fast-tracked and simplified process to achieve certified business psychologist status, the first level of our formal certification process. Normally, this would be a much more lengthy process, a much more costly process, but in the case of someone graduating from an ABP accredited program, like Heriot-Watt's program, and basically you can simply apply through our admin process, provide a copy of your degree certificate. There is a sort of certification committee that we have who will examine the certificate, your degree certificate, and then assuming that they are satisfied, then you will be able to confirm your status as a certified business psychologist. You can then use the post-nominal CBP, and you will be given a digital badge. There are a couple of things just to think about. You need to remain a member of the ABP, obviously, to use your CBP post-nominal, and it is something that we do monitor to make sure that people are using it correctly, remaining as a member of the ABP, and then they are free to use their certified business psychologist status and digital badge. So other key events, I've alluded to the BizPsych Cup. This is a competition for student teams. They work on real world business challenges, which are set by ABP corporate members. So over the years, we've had NatWest set challenges, Arup, SHL, some of our smaller corporate members as well have set challenges. They set challenges that are relevant to their business. The teams, student teams, which are comprised of 4 students, basically work together on these challenges to come up with an evidence-based solution. Throughout the process, they are supported not by academics, but by senior members of the ABP who act as the individual's pro-coach angels, in this case, a mentor. I've given you a link there so you can view some past details and also past winners. And as I said, we'll be coming out with a call for teams in late September, early October, later this year. We also have our ABP Awards, which celebrate excellence in business psychology, whether it's change management, learning and development, diversity, equity and inclusion, assessment and selection, or talent management. And I've also given you a link there where you can see details of the 2024 awards. This is just to give you a flavor of the types of events that we run. So we do have events that are led by finalists from the ABP Awards, talking about their experience, their case study. So in this case, turning behavioral science into everyday action. We have new member welcome sessions that happen on a quarterly basis. And we also have talks of interest, so creating the conditions for culture change, with one of our ABP members leading that particular talk. So lots of different events that come up over the course of the year. So you can keep up with us in a couple of places. We have a LinkedIn page and you can access our feed, and we have a website which I've given you the link there to, and you can also see ABP information and updates using those links. And that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening.
So I think it's entirely up to you, Don, but I was thinking maybe if we let Dean go, and then at the end, and people can put questions to both of you at the end, retrospectively or whatever, if you'd rather have any open questions now, and then Dean can talk, whichever works best for you.
I'm perfect to go with your first proposal.
Perfect, no problem at all. Well, I'd like to just take the opportunity now to introduce Dean. So Dean, if you're ready, I will just pass over to you.
Great. Thank you very much, Gemma. Hello, everyone. It is a real pleasure to be here with you today. And, I thought, perhaps I'll begin by telling you just a little bit about my background, and then I'll share my experience as a Heriot-Watt student with you. I actually did my undergraduate degree in the field of education. And I was an ESL instructor for several years before moving into a career in human resources. But I always wanted to continue my education, and after several years of life getting in the way, following my undergrad in 2024, I decided it was finally time to pursue a master's. I wanted to complete a program that was related to HR. And like Dawn said, I mean, if you work in the field of human resources, you just see business psychology everywhere. I find us HR professionals, we're often asked to make enhancements to various HR programs, like, for example, implement a new type of performance review process, or add some psychometric assessments to support career development or recruitment for our organizations. And the skill that I wanted to have, like I wanted to really be able to critically evaluate the various options that are out there and make evidence-based recommendations and decisions. Let's face it, many senior leaders in various organizations have MBAs or other kind of postgraduate degrees, and understandably, they expect us HR folks to really show our work and provide a justification for the decisions and recommendations that we make. So, obviously, a master's degree is helpful in that sense. So, I started looking into options for master's programs. I was born in Canada, and I live in Canada now. So, I'm sure you can imagine Scotland wasn't the first place I looked at to find a post-secondary institution. But, as I became aware of my options, I ultimately decided on Heriot-Watt because I found it was like it was affordable without sacrificing quality. And the fact that Heriot-Watt is a long-standing institution that serves a large number of in-person students as well was definitely appealing for me. So I started my program in April of 2024, and if you fast forward to now, I've finished 2 courses, and I'll complete my 3rd course 1 month from now. I'm just in the home stretch with a final assessment on the horizon at the end of July. And, having gone through just about a third of the program, I can share a few observations with you. One thing that did come as a surprise to me was actually how engaging the course content is. My assumption going into the program was that online learning would involve me, simply doing readings and then writing papers or exams. But the courses that I've taken so far have, used a good variety of videos or audio clips and online discussions, in addition to readings and written pieces to present the course material. And, I have found it to be more engaging than I expected it to be going in, for sure. And the subject matter of business psychology is just fascinating as well. So, of course, that certainly helps too. A second thing that came to me as a surprise was the format of the assessments. In any post-secondary learning that I've done previously, assessments were either multiple choice exams, essay style exams, or term papers, or some combination of those. But the assessments in the Heriot-Watt courses I've taken so far have actually felt like little projects, and they really do resemble the type of things that people working in the field of business psychology would actually do. Um, for instance, the course on organizational culture required us to prepare a report on a cultural issue for the CEO of a fictional organization. And there was some flexibility around the type of culture issue. So I was able to research an area that, I'd actually dealt with in my career previously. And the leadership course had us preparing a leadership development activity on a leadership model and then present it to some volunteers. Again, this is literally something that I've done on the job before, so I found it to be highly relevant. I guess one other thing that I'll add, I really have enjoyed the international nature of the program. When I look at the course discussion boards, I get insights from the experiences of people all over the world. And, the various perspectives on the course content has been interesting to me. And the readings have also included research from all over the world. So I really do feel as though I'm getting an international education and an international view on business psychology. So now that I've told you a little bit about the course content, I thought it might be helpful for me to share my experience balancing my studies with work and all the other responsibilities I have in my life. Um, you know, Fortunately, the program is structured in a way that, there are three different assessment times over the course of the year. Um, which does give a little bit of flexibility in terms of when people can complete their assessments. I have chosen to complete one course at a time, which means that I have 4 months to complete each course. And they say it takes about 200 hours to complete a course. So, if you do the math, that's about 50 hours per month. Um, so the approach that I've taken, I aim to do 2 hours every day. I wake up a little early, do an hour in the morning before I start work. Then I do an hour at the end of my work day, and aim to do a couple hours on each day over the weekends. And that approach gives me time, on weekday evenings and weekends to spend time with my family or catch up on work around the house or whatever else needs to be done. Um, and there is a lot of flexibility with the online on-demand format of the program. So, while the approach that I'm taking works well for me today, um, someone else could run on a completely different schedule, just so long as they put in their 200 hours or so to complete the course. And while I do aim for 2 hours a day, there are some times when my work day is just too busy, or and in that case, I need to catch up a little bit on the weekends, or if I have family commitments on the weekend, I can go a little harder through the week and still make it work. And as I said, the flexibility of the assessment dates is also, very helpful to me. I appreciate the fact that we don't have to sit an assessment during each assessment window. So, in my case, I started in April 2024, did my first assessment end of July, did second course from August through December, and then I was able to take some time off until March of this year just to decompress a little and focus on some other aspects of my life, and and then start up again. And as I work through the course material, it does give me some peace of mind knowing that if I do need a little more time to get through a course, I can postpone the assessment until the next sitting and work through with that schedule. So maybe I'll I'll just wrap up by speaking a little about my plans for the future. Like I mentioned previously, I have baked some breaks into my my timeline, so I am expecting it to take me 4 years to complete the program, which will have me do my final project in 2028, which is mostly exciting, but a little frightening too, if I'm being honest. And I am putting aside some travel funds so I can visit Edinburgh to attend the graduation ceremony in person. Really looking forward to that. And like already, I've found the concepts that I've learned have been beneficial in my day-to-day work in HR. There's times where I learn about a particular psychological model in the evening, and then I actually see it play out in real life the next day. And that's having completed only a portion of the program, so I'm sure I'll see even more of that as time goes on. We saw in Dawn's presentation, the value of accreditation in the area of business psychology. So I do intend to look into what that involves in Canada. And, even though that is a few years away for me yet, I have no doubt that I am going to see some benefits from the program between now and then as well. And I guess that's my story. Thank you very much, everyone. And perhaps I'll turn it back over to Gemma to continue.
Thank you so much, Dean. And it's lovely to get an insight from someone that's studying the course. And I speak for myself and the rest of the team. Can't wait to meet you when you come over to Edinburgh for graduation, which hopefully won't be too far away.
For sure. Thank you.
So yeah, that was a really, really insightful presentation from both you guys. So I'd like to open up now if anyone has any questions in the chat, if you'd like to just include anything and who your question is to, whether it be Dawn or Dean. If you'd rather send in your questions by email, then that's absolutely fine as well. But if we do have another 15 minutes, so the floor is open if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask. Okay, thank you so much. And again, and thank you to Dawn and Dean for taking the time. I know that the time difference in Canada and Dubai was challenging, but thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye, everyone. Good luck.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.